Hello, guys. We are glad you're here for another great episode. Matter of fact, today we have a very good special guest. Amy Greene is going to be with us today. And today we're going to be talking about trusting yourself with money. So, Amy Greene, how does that sound can you actually trust yourself with money?
Yes, you can, Dave. Of course you can. Yes, this is a big topic that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people don't feel comfortable or confident with their money. And when you think about trust and trusting yourself to handle money well, it really means that you're confident of what is happening in your finances.
No. So, typically speaking, there's three taboos that you
Okay.
don't talk about:
Mm,
money, religion, and politics.
okay.
So a lot of times when we're dealing with money, especially I came from Tennessee, I was down in Tennessee, and down in Tennessee, people don't like to talk about money. They'll talk about anything else, but leave my money out of it. Money is a
Yes.
private thing.
Hmm.
So getting to talk to people about money, right where it's kind of like their hidden secret spot, that's got to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to open the door a little bit for people to talk about it. But when you can get someone in a room, you get a client that comes to to the Zoom room and they just start to spill their guts. Like they've been dying to talk about money in a safe space. And our society, it's so fascinating because money is such a an emotionally charged topic. I mean, and it's funny because you mentioned politics, religion, and money, and I was like, we'll talk about sex, like, well, right? We'll talk about these other things that are like intimate, but we won't talk about money. And I think it's because we've made money a scorecard. It is such this barometer of how good I am as a human, how worthy I am. I mean, it's called net worth. And so it's become this status symbol, and no one wants to admit that they're bad with money. Well, or they'll jokingly say what is it, deprecating way of like, oh, I'm just bad with money, ha ha ha. But it's an excuse to spend. Um, it's just a fascinating thing that we are not open to just openly talk about money. Like, what makes sense? Do you lease a car? Do you buy a car? Do you have credit cards? Do you not have credit cards? How did you finance your house? Like, we don't talk about it enough to understand the intricacies that exist when it comes to money. And it really does impact our ability to trust ourselves because we don't talk about it. So we're guessing because we don't know.
Mhm.
And that's huge.
Yeah. And you brought up a good point. So back in the day, Elvis Presley did the hip jive, and it was counted
Ah.
sexual, so they filmed from the chest above, so you didn't see his hips.
Hmm.
A few years later, they're doing shy of porn in a car, and it's accepted.
Yes.
That's kind of funny. Well, in finances, it's funny because a lot of people talked about what is your credit score, and
Mhm.
ever since one of the big names, Dave Ramsey, came into the business, he shifted people's minds because there was only about 10% of the world is poor, 80% is middle class, and 10% is the rich. Only 1% is the rich of the rich.
Mhm.
And so 80% of the world looks at what is your credit score. Now, if Bill Gates went into someplace, they don't care what his credit score is because he ain't got one. If Elon Musk walks into a place, they don't care what his credit score is. So they've been shifting from credit score to net worth. So you
Mhm.
said a key point when you said net worth, because a lot of
Yeah.
people, if you're broke or living paycheck to paycheck, you go on credit score because you love to stay in debt. But when you actually have real value, you now move into net worth. And it feels so much good when you're net worth, don't it?
Yeah, it does, and I track mine, so I get to watch it go up or down if the market, depending on what the market's doing. But yeah, I think it is a very intricate place to be because the FICO score really has determined our ability to acquire, we can say acquire funds, acquire capital, acquire debt. And a lot of people feel that it's required to operate financially in the world. Now, I will say it is really hard to operate without one. I will say, because you can't, like when we moved to this house just over a year and a half ago, you can't even hook up your electric bill without them putting a deposit on your bill because you don't have a FICO score. Like I close mine, I always keep mine frozen, and I had to open it and unfreeze it and allow them to come check my credit score. And there's reasons why I have a credit score so that I could qualify for the mortgage of this house, right? You know, and car insurances look at it and utility companies look at it. So there's nothing really wrong to me, personally speaking, in having a FICO score, but it's when attach our value to that FICO score. It's when we say, well, you know, well, I'm an 800, or like I'm only a 560, you know, and when we make that mean something about us, that's where we get into trouble.
Hmm.
And I would say that a lot of people, like you said, the wealthy don't tend to look at it as much, right? They're not worried about it as much. They might not have one. And then the poorer folks, they do. They look at it and they're always concerned about it. And they're looking for ways to increase it. And it's usually, you know, taking on more debt, which is keeping them in their poverty, if you will.
Yeah. Well, one of the nice tricks is when you deal, because it's funny because like you can buy your own entire property, but yet you can't get into an apartment
Right.
because you don't have a
Right.
credit score.
Yes.
There's places, well, I can't get a mortgage. You can actually get a mortgage at a cheaper price without a credit score.
Mm,
Because if you do a different type, you don't do the traditional mortgages, which look off of credit score, but you
mhm.
start going into a different type of mortgages. Now they look at net worth, and you actually get better prices because they don't even look at your credit score. Because your
Interesting.
traditional base your interest based on what is your credit score. Well, if you don't have one, but you have a net worth, you automatically go at the highest credit score. It's called manual underwriting.
Right. Right.
So I had one company I was dealing with, and I was like, "Do you do manual underwriting?" "Oh yeah, we definitely do." And so went to them and everything, and it's like, "Oh, you have no credit score. You said you did manual underwriting." Well, most people when they ask that, they still have a credit score.
Right.
Okay, well, so you don't actually do manual underwriting. I'll go to another company. Well, it's
Right.
hard to find those. While I was in the office with them, made a phone call and got a mortgage off the phone off of manual underwriting. I was like, it's not
Okay.
hard, just don't lie. If
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
do it, just say it. I'll move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Um,
It's more work for them, which is why they don't tend to do it. Yeah.
yeah. So it's funny because banks will not do manual underwriting. They don't
No.
want to take that risk. But the rich that actually lend them money, whether it's through a bank or through wherever, they do the manual underwriting because it's like, I still get money. And since they have a net worth, they're trustworthy. Yeah, I want their money.
Right. Right.
Even with a good credit score, you have a better chance of losing your money than you do if they have a good net worth.
Mm. Yes. Yes. They know that you've got assets to back it up.
Yep,
So you could sell some stuff if you need to.
yep, exactly it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of times you can get better prices when you do manual underwriting. Now, yeah, um, certain things you have to put a deposit down, but then I've also used the card. It's funny because a little trick I like to do? I used to always have a car loan. I still have a
Mhm.
car loan, but I don't have a loan. So,
Mm.
matter of fact, I bought a brand new car right out of the showroom. And the showroom cars are the top of the line. I literally drove it out of the showroom. It was so awesome. It was the first car that ever drove by itself. It was really awesome, the newest features, and it was the top of that model. Matter of fact, it had a unique color just to it. Anyhow, I met somebody that told me, "Oh, you got too much of a car for your position, your current financial position. You got to get rid of it." I was like, "No, I got a good credit score. I'm fine. No, you got to get rid of that car. It's too much for where you're at." And fought with him for a while because I live so far away and I work long hours. I have to have a good car, and this one drives by itself so I can get to work and not have to worry about killing myself. Anyhow, a few months after, I pretty much had to get rid of that car. That was heartbreaking.
Was it
But
because there was actual financial pain associated with making the payments? Or was it something else?
so I had to get rid of it because it didn't line up with my new set of beliefs.
Okay.
And you have to practice what you preach.
Yes, you do.
And so I took a class that completely changed my life, Financial Peace University. It was funny because the very first time I went there, oh, this class ain't for me.
Right.
Oh, yes, it is. You need to learn those principles.
Yes.
Second class, you have to do something. I says, I ain't going to do it. I had 10 of those things. Third class, 9 of them got cut up. One of them was metal.
Yeah.
And this was out in the country. And I was like, well, I can't cut this. And in my head, I'm thinking it's a joke. Sucker,
Yeah.
you cut this up. He grabs and was like, oh, this is metal. Set it down, walked to his car, came back in with tin snips. Clip, clip, clip. Like,
Yep. Yep.
out in the country, they have stuff like that.
You can get tin snips at Home Depot.
Yeah, but they usually don't have them in their car already.
Yeah. Yeah.
Completely changed my life. So down the road, I pretty much had to get rid of that car because if I believe in this, I have to do it myself.
Hmm.
So now I still had car payments for a while, but then the trick is once you get that car paid off, you still make a car payment, but you
Yes.
make it to yourself.
Right.
So instead of paying interest, you're earning interest.
Hmm.
Now, when you get enough money, now you just go buy the car.
Yes.
So to start off, you get a jalopy, a car that gets you from A to B. You might spend $2,000 for the car complete, all in. You might
Maybe not
spend
today. I don't know if you could you get a car for $2,000 today?
a jalopy.
Mm, maybe.
This
I
is
mean,
just
my
a
mom
car
just
that
sold
gets you from A to B.
yeah. My sister's car just got sold to salvage for 675, and that was to salvage. So who knows?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but you don't buy it from a dealership at those prices. You buy it from individual people. And
Hmm.
again, you have to know how to talk. So there's a good book I recommend. There was an FBI agent, a very good negotiator.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Split the
Splitting the
difference.
difference.
He
Yeah,
will
split the difference.
teach you how to talk to dealerships and things like that. You don't go, oh man, I love this car. The price goes up. Well, that car could work. I can make it work. Well, is doesn't it drive great? It's okay. Now it could be the best ride in the world. It's okay.
Mm.
You'll get a better bargaining tool if it's just doable. If it's your best thing, price goes up. So it's all on how you talk to the people because they want to sell the
Mhm.
car. And if they're not going to really sell it, I can knock $500 and get you to buy it. Okay, I'll do it. So split the difference really
Yeah.
teaches you stuff like that.
Yes.
But it was funny before that point because I had a very good credit score and working with, getting every year I always got a new car. Every year. Brand new. Matter of fact, in 2020, that's the year I made my change. Just before I made the change, I had bought 3 brand new cars. One was right out of showroom.
Mm.
And yeah. So anyhow, the bank was really awesome. it was like I had money because I go into the dealership. Well, we can run your credit. Oh, my credit's very good, but you're not running it because you're not going to take my credit score down.
Mhm.
I've already got the approval. I'm already good for $30,000. So if I get a car, I can get up to $30,000 cash out the door. Now, at the time, I didn't realize that actually makes your price go up because I didn't know how to deal with the dealership. But
Mhm.
I had the bank dealing with the dealership, and I always sent everything to them, and they said yes or no. And if they said no, I walked out. Well, now I learned the tricks and I know how to do it myself. But at that
Mhm.
time, I felt like I was powerful because I had somebody behind me. And I know
Right.
you're in that boat, Amy, where you have like that power. How does that power feel when you can go into a place and you're not shafted because you know what's going on?
Yeah, I think there's something about having your own back in your finances, like knowing that you are in control, right? And knowing that you trust your decisions with money. And it's about, yeah, it's about trusting your decisions and knowing that you're making the right move for you, whether you're spending money and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy a car." And like my mom just bought a car cash at a Lexus dealership, brand new, and she feels great. She's like, wrote the check, walked out the door, got the car. There's no regret, there's no remorse, there's no calculations. And that's the place you want to be at, right? You want to be at this place where you don't need the banker guy to tell you yes or no. You need you to tell you yes or no. And when you get in control with your money, because you and I are both financial coaches, you get in control of your money, you get to look at the numbers, you get to feel into them, but it's trusting yourself that your money's working for you.
Yep.
And it's just such a different place to be because then you walk in with confidence. And if it's your money that you're stroking the check, you're going to make sure that you really do love that car because you're writing the check. It's not like, oh, it'll do. It's none of this. You can just, and if you want to gush over the car, gush over the car. You're writing the check. It's really more about just knowing that, you know what, this is what I want. This is what I'm willing to pay for it. And that feels good to me.
Yeah. And the first time you do it, you're kind of like scared. You're like, is this going to work?
Mhm.
How is it going to be? But after you do
Yeah.
it once or twice, or when you get that feeling, I think that really builds that trust that we're talking about because it gives you
Hmm.
that confidence and you're like, yeah, I've
Yeah.
done it. I've made it. Because the thing
Right.
is when we're out there, we're struggling. It's like when you're in a hole, it's hard to get out because something's always
Mhm.
pulling you in. There's those companies out there. Hey, if you're in debt, contact us. We can get you out of debt. Yeah, that's not the
Right.
way to go. But anyhow, when you're in, you're always struggling, and when you think you're coming out, you're actually getting pulled in. The only way to truly change is by changing habits. That's
Hmm.
why you get with a financial coach. But the thing is
Right.
when you have and you have done, the more that you do, the better you feel, the stronger you feel, the
Hmm.
more trust you get.
Yeah.
Knowledge is what you hear on the internet. Knowledge is what you hear from your friends. Knowledge is what you hear from everybody.
Right.
Wisdom is once you've applied it and you feel it, you know it. So that
Right.
trust is giving you that wisdom.
Yeah, and like wisdom is really built, I mean, it's wisdom is built from experience too, right? So applying the knowledge, but it's funny that you're saying that because we can grab all this knowledge from all these places. And I have been in my life a personal development junkie, all this like growth stuff. I want to learn about nutrition and finances and all the things. And I'm always reading about personal development. And I've come to a point where I'm like, I need to turn it all off. Because we do need to change habits, right? But it's let's pick one area to focus on at a time because otherwise we're just too overwhelmed. But
Mhm.
I've learned that truly the answers lie within. Now, So do I have a coach? Of course I have a coach, right?
Mhm.
Because there are things I can't see about myself that a coach is skilled at doing and helping me understand what's in my way. I am in my way, and it's hard for me to see what part of me is in my way.
Mhm.
So that's where the coach's coaching comes in. And it's getting to this place where you really can understand why you do the things you do with money, how to do differently, but also what's aligned for you. Because
Mhm.
everyone's got different priorities, everyone's got different values, everyone's got different, um, you know, we'll call it needs, but you're going to use your money differently, right?
Yes.
And I love to talk about how and I call it my I call it right now the title is the financial freedom formula, because there's three things to do with money, right? There's to save it, spend it, or give it.
Mhm.
And all three need to be in balance. There's nothing wrong with saving money. There's nothing wrong with spending money, and there's nothing wrong with being generous with money. It's when you do one of them in a full extreme, like you give away so much money that you're sacrificing your own survival, or you spend it all and you have nothing left, or you're saving it all and you're just, Uncle Scrooge. And so we want to be able to do all three where we can feel good about money. We can feel um, carefree, right? Where it feels good to be like, I can check my investments, my retirement, I can check whatever. Um, and then I know that I can go spend money. We can go have dinner and I don't have to think, I don't have to stress about it. Or we can book a vacation. We know these things are happening.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's what I help my clients achieve, right? What works for them, what's their definition of that, what works, and we have different seasons. The balance of these three areas are going to change, right? If you are getting out of debt and that's your goal, you're not going to be spending as much because you're throwing that money on debt. But when you are wildly, out of debt and maybe you've paid off your house and you can be extremely generous because it's not going to impact your living situation as much as it used to. And so there's just all these different seasons to life, and it's just nice that we can, turn the dial on them as we need to and just adjust.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said a key thing.
Mhm.
Um, because also with having that trust, you know, when you have and you go to work and your boss is like a prick,
Mhm.
we're stuck there. We can't leave. But when you are comfortable and you actually have a good savings, you don't really need that job. You can work
Yeah.
anywhere. You can tell your boss, well, dude, I've had enough of you. Take
Yeah.
this job and shove it. You're not
Yeah.
stuck there,
Right.
and
Right.
stuff like that gives you that confidence, you know.
Yeah. It's
So,
true. It's true. Right. And I work with entrepreneurs, and a lot entrepreneurship, we have most of us, 99.9% of us have irregular incomes, right?
mhm,
So our we'll have really nice months, we'll have really slow months. And so can you feel confident, stable, secure through all of it? The big months are great, but when the slow months comes, can you still pay yourself? Can you still pay the bills? And so that's where I really help my clients create that system so they can manage that, so that let your revenue do what it does, like make the money. Real estate agents make all the money in the summer, great, go do it. And then let's make sure that we're protected on the back end, so in the dead of winter, if it's snowing 20 inches or whatever, you're fine. You're not going to freak out that your closing is now pushed out, or the houses aren't selling. So that's the whole point, because and since I work so close with the entrepreneurs and I am one, if you're stressed about money, people can feel it. They don't know what it is. They're not like, oh yeah, oh yeah, Dave, he's stressed with money. They don't know that. But there's an energy that changes when you are needy and desperate for a sale, or
mhm,
there's an underlying level of stress where there's pressure. And one of the most beautiful examples of this is the recent Olympics. I'm obsessed with these, and I wish they were still going. But we saw pressure on figure skating. I'm a big figure skating fan. But Ilya Malinin he choked. He felt the pressure, the pressure, the pressure, and he was awesome. He was great. They're calling him a god. He's the quad god. So think of that all in your head. And now he's up on his final skate to win gold, and he cracked.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, oh, Alyssa Liu, like I can't love her, this girl any more than I do. She's like, I'm not here for medals. I'm here to just showcase my art. I'm here to have fun. I'm here to be like, I'm in the Olympics.
Mhm.
This is amazing. And what did she do?
She
Wins gold.
coasted like nothing. She was like light on her
It was,
feet.
I mean, when you watch it, she's smiling the entire time.
Mhm.
I think she even laughed a little bit, but like she's smiling the entire time, or everyone else was like, "Ugh," like their face, you can see it. So
Mhm.
when we have financial confidence, when we trust ourselves with money, it radiates from
Yes.
us. It is an internal just sunshine that just oozes out, and people feel good in your presence. And if you're a business owner, people are want to work with you. Like that's what happens when you
Mhm.
get when you can trust yourself with money, when you've got that confidence.
Yeah. And you know, what you said is key because um, one of the biggest struggles coaches have, and every good coach has a coach. Um, our other co-host on here, Mary, and myself, we both have coaches.
Yeah.
You have a coach. All good coaches have coaches. But the one thing
Yes.
coaches struggle with, a dog. If you fear animals, a dog senses it, and they will attack you.
Yeah.
When you're starting
Yes.
out, you need money. But if you need money, you're not going to get a client. That's why, as a coach,
Hmm.
usually your first year, you're lucky if you get one client
Mm.
because of your fear and of your insecurity. You're like, I need, I need, I need. And if I'm meeting with Amy and I'm like, I really need this sale. Now, I don't say that to you, but I'm stressing, like, oh,
Yeah.
she's got to buy this. My attitude's going to be like pushy, pushy. And you're going to be like, dude, I don't need you.
Yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
client I was talking to, and I didn't even want him. I was just telling him what he needs to do, and he's like, "Would you take another client?" Well, I won't say no, but I was trying to help him. I did not even want him, and he attracted to me. So the thing is when
Yeah.
you are confident and when you're able, it's funny
Yeah.
because then they just flock to you. It's like when you
Yes.
need a client, you can't get one. When you don't need them,
Right.
they're always there. Your calendar's booked.
Yes. It's so, so true. And it's this detachment, right? We just have to stay detached.
Hmm.
And my coach calls it lean back energy. She's like, she leans back. She's like, okay, like I don't need I don't need you to buy from me. I'm here to do my job. And if it's a good fit and they want to work with me, great. But if not, great too, right? It's that complete detachment is so vital.
Yeah. It's
And
funny
it's hard
because,
to have.
yeah,
Sorry, go
one
ahead.
of my highest paying clients, one of my best clients in the world, I got him, and it was kind of a push because I was seeing the dollars and I was like, okay, sure, I'll take it. I worked with him 2 months. I canceled him. And let me say, he was my
Mhm.
highest paid client ever. I don't know if I'll ever get
Yeah,
another one like him.
there
He
you
was
go.
making, and this is no joke, he was making millions monthly.
Yeah, yeah,
But the thing
that's
is,
awesome.
is what he was doing was not ethical, and I could not put
Mhm.
up with it. So I
Yes,
took him on because the money looked good. But I got
yes.
rid of him because I couldn't deal with him. I was like, this is not
Yes.
worth it. Money is
Oh,
not
yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
and I don't want this kind of a client.
Right, and I think it's important for coaches to define what kind of client they want, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, if they're selling drugs for their millions or whatever they're doing that's not that you don't agree with, like there's definitely clients I've fired clients. I won't propose to people that I'm like, they're just not gonna be a good fit. If they don't seem ready, willing, and eager, and they want a lot of hand holding or they need a lot of coddling, that's not my ideal client, right?
Yeah.
I want someone who's gonna go after it, who's gonna take ownership of it. And it's
Yep.
not for me to solve their problem. my job is to guide them to their answers.
Yeah. Yep. Being that
Yeah.
light, showing them the way.
Yes.
But we don't push
Yes.
them. We just, hey, look, you want to
Oh,
go
I'll
down the dark
push.
path? You want to go down the light path?
I'll push, but I'll push in, you know, I will push. I will push them if they ask for it. Because that's the point of transformation, is to
Hmm.
push you beyond what's comfortable. You want to stay uncomfortable, then why are we working together? That's
Yep.
not why we're here.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Yeah. I always say, get out of your comfort zone. Um, and that's important because
yeah.
as long as you stay in your comfort zone, you're doing the same thing you did yesterday and expecting a change. And by the way, I think that's a definition of insanity.
Yeah. Right, right.
Now, as a person, we can come out of our comfort zone very easily. But the difference with a
Right.
coach is not only do we take you out, but we push you that little bit further. And I love using the analogy. You got that coach in the gym. One more, one more, one more. How many one mores do I
Yeah.
have to do?
Yeah.
One more. It's like, this is all I
Till you
got.
can't do them.
One more. And then you struggle
Yeah.
and you can't go no further. And then he'll pick it the rest of the way. That's what a coach does. Takes you to your limit
Yep.
so that you get the maximum results.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we can't be too pushy. I have a client. They're like, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it depends, right? I think it depends
Hmm.
um on that. I Yeah, I mean, it just depends. I think it just depends. It depends on what they want to do. But I guide them to what's the best answer for them. I'm
Hmm.
like, you have these options. They see like one option, they might see two, and I'm like, you've got 30 of them. Let's talk about them. And and then from that they can pick, right? They're like, well, I'm not going to sell my car because I don't want to do. So I don't push. I don't force them to sell their car. Whatever you want to keep it, then you're going to work for it. Work for it. Good. So and then we move on. We're not going to spend a lot of time harping about it, right? People are
Hmm.
attached to their cars. So I don't really I'm like, we're gonna well, there's another hill to die on. So we'll die on another one. But yeah, it's uh um I- yeah, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, and I mean that's one of the biggest keys is and I can do this better with Mary here because she
Mm,
is an RN. Um
yes.
and I've only done this twice here. But I use this a lot elsewhere. I learned this little trick. So your heart beats very up and down,
Mhm.
and a micro millisecond, your heartbeat like goes up like 3 times. And I drew this line like this, and Mary was like, "No, you don't want to be that because that's pretty much dead." I was like, "Oh, because your heart does like this. It's all different, right? It's not just straight
Yeah.
all the way up." So, but the key in this, at times, you're gonna be at the top of the hill. You're gonna be the king of the king, but you're not always up there. At times, you're in the lowest of the valleys. And no
Mhm.
matter where you're at, you should be at a good place. Life does not go like this. Life is not easy.
Mhm.
Life is not fair. Sometimes you're going to be up here. Sometimes you're going to be down here. When you're down here, it doesn't mean you're having everything is crashing. Now, it could, but you just may have a bad day.
Right.
You're a lady, you have hair. Some people that have hair have bad hair days. I don't have those.
Yes.
My hair ran
Lucky
away,
you. Yeah, you're like, lucky you. You're like, I don't have any bad days. It's great.
but I still have bad days too. Sometimes
Yeah.
I can't get enough sleep. I slept a long time, but I'm still tired. We
Oh
all
yeah.
have bad days some way, shape, or form. And it doesn't
Right.
mean that we don't have our stuff together. It's just life. If you
Yeah.
tell me you're always like this, I can tell you a liar.
That or you don't do anything, right? That or you just like stay at home and watch TV and your day is every day is the same. It's like Groundhog's Day. I think the key though is when it comes to it's funny, I was just in my mastermind and we were talking about money and being kind of like down to the wire. These are other entrepreneurs, other coaches, and they're like, yeah, I have money to get through February, and we're at February 25th, but they're saying how they don't have another client payment coming up. What are they going to do in March? And so it's really, when you're in the valley, it's, can you trust yourself with money in the valley? Can you trust yourself? Can you trust? And a lot of what I work with my clients on is to trust that they're always provided for. There's always a solution. There's always a way out. There's always something that we can do to get the help that you need, or to make this work. It is not forever,
Mhm.
right? And so we have to really get, I think it's kind of cliche, but we have to get comfortable getting being uncomfortable, but it's expanding our capacity for discomfort. I've got little kids. I've got a 7-year-old, it's my youngest, and she gets out of the shower and she's like, "Oh, it's so cold." And I'm like, "It's okay, girl. Like there's gonna be a lot more of this in your, like, a lot more discomfort moments." And so if we can get used to feeling uncomfortable, and it's weird because we say it and it's like, "Well, what does that mean, Amy? What does it mean to get uncomfortable?" I wrote down, what scares you? What scares you? I think for a lot of our clients, hiring a coach scares them. They're like, "I've never spent this much money on myself, or on something, like, I got to spend money to get better at money." Hell yeah, you do. And it's an investment, but really helping people understand that when you put your trust in yourself, in the case of, like, you're investing in a coach, or you're making an investment or a large purchase, is trusting that that's going to pay off in the end, right?
Mhm.
Trusting that this is the right move for you. And that's where, even if it scares you, I
Mhm.
paid my coach a ton of money, and the first payment I was like, "Oh my god, I might throw up." And but it's reaped rewards beyond all measure, right?
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Well, speaking of that, when I first got my first coach, I'm sitting there and it's like, okay, so I paid this much money. Okay, so he's changed, got me to do this. It's not adding up. I'm not getting the value here. And I was with him for a couple months and I said, dude, I'm not really getting value here. I'm paying you more than what I'm getting. He's like, really? And then he starts pulling some things. He's like, you were doing this and now you're doing this. What are you getting from that?
Mhm.
And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, you got a point. Okay, I'll keep you.
Mhm. Yeah.
A lot
Right,
of times
right.
our personal development budget is supposed to be so much. A coach does not
Yeah.
charge what they should. They should be charging more.
Right. Yes.
But when you're looking into yourself, self-help books, vitamins, all these things that help improve you. A lot of times we live our life very poorly. We go out and drink. We do a lot of bad stuff in our younger years, and then later on we try to catch up and we fix everything up. But you're supposed to have so much for your personal development, and that's
Mhm.
for books, for everything that's going to improve you.
Courses, like, all the things that you wanna do, it could be for a personal trainer, all of it that you wanna do personally development, yeah. I
Yep.
I agree with you on that, because my coach, I've been with her now over 2 years, and have I made my money back? I have not made my money back, because she's a pretty high cost coach, but I am not the same person.
Hmm.
Like, the growth that I have had here has been so much more, and so much more worth it, right? And just
Hmm.
how I think, even my husband's like, "This is like," he likes this version of me. And so it's worth it on so many ends, and I know that it will pay off in the end. Like, at some point there will be a tipping point where the money will show up, right? The ROI is going to be there.
Yep. Well, it's funny that you said that your coach is a very high level coach or a very high costing coach, but also a very producing coach. I had
Yeah.
a person that they were a doctor, very well able to handle my fees. Now, in the community of coaches that we were a part of, there's some really cheap coaches, and I'm not one of the cheaper. I'm one of the a little bit more than them.
More premium.
Yeah, more
Yep.
premium than them. And he says, after talking with him, he says, I definitely need you, but I don't like your price. Now, this is a doctor. a full-fledged doctor making very good money. I'm
Yep.
hoping to pay like $50 a month. I laughed at him.
That, oh my God, no way.
Now, I had a coach tell me, no, no, you should have taken it. I was like, what? Oh, yeah, yeah, but here's the trick. To make up your fees, they are going to be your marketing tool. So, normally with coaching, it is private. What goes on in coaching stays between you and the coach.
Right.
Our calls are no longer private. They will be publicly shared.
Oh,
You will be used for marketing because normally you pay marketing very high money. So if he wants a low cost, he becomes my marketing.
hmm.
So I reached out back to him and says, you know what? I'm sorry. I can take that $50. However, and then I explained, he's like, I don't want to be public. I was like,
Yeah.
if I came to your office and I needed surgery, would you let me to do it for $50? He says,
Ha.
well, no, there's more involved. Exactly.
Yes.
You know? So if you want to shortchange me, but you don't want to be shortchanged, on the same scale you
Yeah.
sow, you will reap.
Well, and to piggyback on this topic of like the investment level with a coach or anything, we value what we pay
Mhm.
for. And I always liken it to a bottle of wine. I drink wine. And so um we value a very expensive bottle of wine and we're going to savor it. We're going to drink it slowly. We're actually going to enjoy it. We're going to get all the goodness out of it. But the $7 bottle of wine or the $10 bottle of wine, we're like, we kind of just, don't really pay attention to it as much. And the same thing applies with coaching. And one thing I tell my, when I tell everybody, I mean, clients too, but when you pay attention. And the more money that people make, I will charge more because it needs to hit you. You need to feel it.
Yeah,
Because otherwise, if it's a Starbucks coffee to you, then you're not going to show up. You're going to miss it. You're not going to do the work. You'll be like, nah, I don't have to go. It's just this. But if it's something where you're like, this is a fee, this is an investment, I'm showing up. And
yep,
all of my clients, every time I raise my rates and they keep paying, they keep paying, and they keep paying, they keep getting better and better results.
yep,
I get better too over time, but they're getting better and better results because they're invested. They're truly invested and committed to the process.
yep, yep, very true. And that's one of the biggest keys is, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you're making um $1,000 a month, if you pay $100 a month, you're gonna feel it. But if you're
Mhm.
making $5,000 a month, $100, what's that?
Right.
That's like a cup of coffee a day. That's nothing to them.
Mhm.
They got to be able to feel that, and a hundred
Yeah.
dollars a month is not going to let them feel it. You know,
Right.
um, so it does need to be proportionate to where they're at. If you're only making $1,000, I'm not going to charge you $500. However,
Mhm.
if you're only making $1,000, I'm not the coach for you.
Right.
Um,
Same.
because you got to be at a certain level because I'm going to push you to certain things, and you're not going to be able to do the level that I'm going to be pushing you at that. And we're going to be spinning a lot of wheels. Matter of fact, I had this one client that I probably should not have taken. They were going through a mess. They were trying to get a divorce. They were trying to fix
Mhm.
their life. They were trying to do a lot of things. And I was like, okay, I can definitely help out with this. Um, I knew the situation. Now, first of all, if they're dealing with a divorce, you probably should not take it for protection, because the husband can come after you too. But anyhow, so they wanted to hide money, and stuff like that. It's like, well, let's get you out of debt. Well, I don't want to get out of debt yet because I'm gonna, my husband's debt, I'm gonna add to me as well because they split everything. Well, it was funny because while we were working, the whole time we're working, they're not being completely honest. They're
Right.
forgetting this and they're forgetting that. Well, when you try to hide things, you're also hiding it in your mind, and a lot of times you don't remember. So you're not purposely lying to me, but you're lying to me because you're not giving me all the details. How can I help you if you don't give me everything?
Yeah.
Her
Right.
daughter
Right.
was even telling her, normally going to the grocery store, I want candy, I want candy. No, don't buy me the candy. You got to get out of debt. It was so awesome. But, when we're younger, we learn. Sometimes you don't need a client just because you can help them. Because if they're not ready for help, you can't really help them. And if they want to hide things and
Yes.
don't want to fix it right now, call me when you're ready.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You know, and so speaking of that, this is a very good thing. I know we have we've had a few people in here. We currently have four people in here right now. I know one of them
Mhm.
has mentioned to us in chat. If anybody else has any questions or anything, wants to speak, just make sure that you text in the thing. Now, with YouTube, we found this out recently. You do have to be subscribed and you have to be logged in with a profile or a channel in order to post. So uh, Aaron was posting in here, and then all of a sudden wasn't able to because YouTube did an upgrade because they're trying to stop all those bots, and he
Yeah.
wasn't able to text, and then we found out, and now he's able to.
Yeah.
So had to find that out. But if you have anything, we do want this to be engaging, so definitely bring your questions in, and we are more than happy to bring the questions out. Um, Amy here, myself, and also at least one person that's in the room is a financial coach. There's tons of us out there. The better ones are right here. No, I'm just kidding.
Ah,
That was kind of a low blow.
yeah, 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 no worries.
But anyhow, at least I got some laughter out of that. That was a purpose. Um, we want engagements. And I was hoping I'd get something in the room saying, "Come on now." But anyhow, we want engagements. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it entertaining. This is all about personal development, and this is a great topic today. Trusting yourself with money. Money is the one thing that we don't like to talk about, and I have it, so I don't want to let people know. But I don't want you to know how much money I have, but I'm okay. But what if you do let people know? It's okay,
Yeah.
right? It's not like it's the end of the world. Now, I don't need to tell people, hey, look, I have such and such money, but they'll definitely see that I have no worries. I have no stress. And that's one of the
Mhm.
biggest things. Because when you stress will kill you. So let me ask you, Amy, what is
Mhm.
one trick that you can use to knock out stress so you can build that trust?
So we have to make looking at our finances safe. And the work that I do with my clients, it is a lot of practical things, right? We're just going to open bank accounts. We're going to create a budget. We're going to look at how much debt you have. But the other side of the coin is your nervous system, right? And our body, our physical body, the nervous system and the body are trying to keep us safe. And so we have to be okay physically to do something that feels really scary. And sometimes with my clients, like I just I'll talk about my group in a minute, but we had our first session this week, and the one woman, we're looking at the future and talking about what they want and doing a little visualization exercise. And she's like, afterwards, and I was like, how is that for you? Because she didn't seem like she was all into it. And she said, I don't know if I can have that, basically an emergency fund for the business, right? And I was like, and I know it's probably a big number, it's a construction company. And she's like, I don't know if I can have that. And maybe she never has. So, okay, well, we need to work on expanding your capacity to have money in the bank because sometimes people freak out to have $1,000 in the bank. Some people freak out to have 10,000, or more, as you go up, it can get a little bit more weird to be like, oh, I have all this money in my bank account. So one thing I would suggest is just really, if you know what you want or what you're about to do, if you're going to look at your numbers and you're scared shitless about looking at how much credit cards you have and how much you owe or whatever the thing is that scares you, just take a moment to be with yourself. And I go through this exercise, of really doing some deep breaths where your eyes are closed and you're really trying to calm your body down. And then just putting your hand on your heart. And as you think about the thing that scares you, whether it's looking at your numbers and looking at how much debt you have, or, oh my gosh, can I have 50K in my business savings account? Whatever that is, but just telling yourself that I am safe. I am safe. It is safe to look at my numbers. And knowing that these numbers mean nothing about you, right? We've made them mean a lot of stuff about us, but telling your body that you're safe to look at your numbers, to look at all of these credit cards, to know how much debt you have. That was the old you that created that, right? And the new you is here today with me coaching, and that's going to get cleaned up. We're going to work on that. And so we have to neutralize the thing we're afraid of. Have you ever watched Harry Potter? I'm I am rereading the books, and there's a thing called a Bogart, and the Bogart will transform into the one thing that you are the most terrified about. But it's not real, but it does it freaks people out, and they just do this like ridiculous curse or whatever. And we have to do the same thing, right? We have to do the same thing of like, this is just a Bogart turning into some funny, weird, scary thing. It means nothing about me. And so really doing this work to know that it is safe. And when it's come, and it could be, let me just look at one credit card. Let's just look at one right now. We don't need to look at the 12 others. Let's just look at the one. And you can pick the one that you think is like the lowest. It's okay. We'll just pick one. And we're going to just write that down, right? We're going to do one at a time. I have a client who has this capacity thing. He has a hard time holding money in the bank. And we've slowly been working to build that up, to feel good of seeing bigger and bigger numbers in the bank account.
Yeah.
So that is something, I know that was a long-winded answer to your question, but I would say creating emotional safety, but physical safety, like really tapping in, because our bodies are so amazing at protecting us, but they often protect us from things that, like, our credit card bills aren't going to eat us. Like, I mean, they can do some damage, but we're not going to die if we look at what we owe. So,
Yeah. And you said one of the key things there.
mhm,
A lot of times, we stress out and we figure this is going to be the death of me. I can't handle it. I don't need to be here.
right.
But no matter how big your debt is, you owe $500,000, you owe $10 million. It's not going to put you in jail. It's not going to cut your limbs off, take your life. Those things are not going to happen. Now, what's going to happen? Okay, so you may struggle on buying things. Do you really need those things? So while you're going through the obstacles, as long as you can get something you can grab onto, it's not
Yes.
that bad.
Right.
It
You're not
makes it
homeless
easier to,
living under a bridge.
yep, it's easier
Yeah.
to grab onto it so that you can get past it. Then when you have no debt, it's wonderful.
Right.
Speaking of
Right.
which, I have to say this, it's funny. I had a guy tell me, when you own your house, when you own your property, go out on your grass barefoot, it feels different. So I did that.
Hmm.
I went barefoot on my grass. It hurt. I went back to this guy and I told him, I says, it hurts. He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I went barefoot out on my grass and it hurts. He's like, come on, dude, what's going on? Well, to be honest with you, I lived in the country and there's a dirt road and it throws rocks. Now, country people, they can walk barefoot on rocks and it's fine. City people cannot walk barefoot on rocks.
Right.
So when I walked on my rocky grass, because I'm in the country, it hurt. And it
Yep.
was funny because this person just says, only you, only you.
Yep. Yep.
But the thing is you have to have something you can grab onto. When you're sinking in quicksand,
Yeah.
if you just grab on something, you're still going under because you're kicking, you're fighting, and you're not going to have the momentum to pull you out. But
Hmm.
when you grab onto something that's sturdy and don't kick your feet, you can easily pull yourself out.
Right. Right.
And that's the same thing with trusting yourself. When you can grab onto something sturdy, you can get out of anything. Nothing is
Yep.
too hard.
And if you stop kicking, because like the flailing serves nobody. Yeah, I think yeah, you're not going to end up homeless under a bridge, right? And if you are getting towards that, you're going to do a lot of things to not get to that place.
Hmm.
And so that's just something to remember that you might have a lot of debt, you might be filing bankruptcy, you might yeah, things might be taken away from you, but are you living homeless under a bridge? Not yet. So you're good.
Yep.
You're good.
And even let's go that bad. Let's say you will be homeless. You don't have to live under a bridge because there's tons of shelters out there that will
Yes.
help you get going again.
Yes. And this reminds me, so again, going back to my coaching group, the one of the women's like she's like, I just keep like catastrophizing this thing in my head. And so she just wrote it out. What's the worst that can happen?
Hmm.
And she just wrote it all out. If I quit my business, then this happens, and this happens, and this happens. And once she got it out, she was like, oh, it's not so bad.
Yep.
But when it's all up here, so I always recommend to my clients that they journal. I'm a big I like journaling, writing things down, getting it out. So that's another great way to take some stress off.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
speaking of that, I love getting things out. You said that at the perfect time.
Perfect.
Amy, let's just get some things out right here.
Yes.
We like to talk about three things, first of all. And so, first of all, we have a community here. We did have a community in one place. We've moved it into YouTube. So make sure you join the YouTube community that we got going on here. We do have a special. The first 1,000 subscribers are going to get into the directory for free, where you can advertise
Mhm.
your business and things like that. So make sure that you do that. There's a link
Okay.
in the description below so that you can register and get onto that directory. And like I said, the first 1,000 subscribers get in for free.
Nice.
Also, speaking that we're talking about trusting yourself with money, um,
Mhm.
knowing your finances in basically a basic foundation is key. And starting Monday, we're actually starting Financial Breakthrough Foundations. Mary Bibb, that's usually on here, she is the money coach. RN, as well as me, are going to be leading this. It's going to go on for 4 weeks. It's a foundations workshop. 4 simple sessions, 4 simple weeks. It's going to change your life. So the link is in the description below. And I know Amy wants to tell us about something that she has getting ready to come up.
Yes. So I'm a financial coach for entrepreneurs and for individuals and couples who want help with their personal finances. But one of the things I just launched is a group for entrepreneurs. It's a group coaching program and it's called Profit Like It's Hot Accelerator. And we just had our very first meeting this week. We meet Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can still join. You can still join. You've missed one session. You can get the replay. I'll get you caught up. No worries. The link will be added to the show notes a little bit in a few minutes. But it is definitely this group for business owners who just want to feel stable. They want to feel secure. They're not sure what's going on with their finances and their business. They're not paying themselves or they're not paying themselves consistently. They don't have money to cover slow seasons. So we create a framework that's very simple, very easy to do so that you know where your business money's going. You know that you can pay yourself in slow seasons. You know that your business can stay operating when revenue drops. And it's just a great program. We've got some awesome people in there right now. It's just a really fun group. And so look forward to having you. It's called Profit Like It's Hot Accelerator. The link will be down below.
So currently, right now, if you look in the description, you'll see Amy's website normally, but
Yes.
this website will be added as soon as we go off air, so it will be up there
Yes.
shortly. So make sure you check those out for her, and
Thank you.
her class sounds like a very good one, so make sure you join that class.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
on that note, uh, we're gonna see you guys next week at the same time, same bat channel. And did you have any final words, Amy?
No, thank you so much for having me on today, David. This has been so much fun. I love helping people learn how to trust themselves when it comes to their money, whether it's in business or personal finances. So I appreciate the opportunity.
And we'll see you guys next week.